Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Noah back again with another YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I help people awaken to their true abilities through wellness and spirituality, aka Noah's Ark. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning into these videos that I've been posting for you guys. It's been a blast for me, and I'm glad that you guys get inspired by my videos. And I'm just grateful for you guys, so thank you for that. But what to expect for the rest of this year and the year of 2022 as well. Starting off, I'm going to go into kind of what to expect for the rest of this year. The theme is going to be stepping into the unknown. A lot of us don't like stepping into unfamiliar territory, right? And the reason for this is because us as humans, we love comfortability, right? We love being comfortable. And one of the themes for this year is going to be start getting used to being uncomfortable or being in uncomfortable situations, right? Step out of your comfort zone, right? Follow your heart's desire, right? Because there is, on the other side of the unknown is where abundance and prosperity potentially could be, right? And so that is the important theme for the rest of this year, is stepping into the unknown and stepping out of our comfort zone a little bit, right? Pursuing our passions, right? What is something that has been on your mind, right? What's something that you felt you needed to do, but you kind of hesitated because you overthought about what someone else was going to say, right? I know there's some of you out there who have ideas of what you actually want to do, right? But it's kind of been hard for you to pursue these ideas because you're so worried about what someone else is going to think, right? It's normal. But I'm here to remind you that it doesn't necessarily matter what they think, because at the end of the day, if you're following your heart's desire, you're going to repel some people, right? That's just the reality of the situation. Not everyone's going to like you. And the reason for this is because you become polarizing when you start to be your own true self, right? When you start to express authentically, when you start to express yourself authentically, that is when you start to become very polarizing, right? You start to become half and half with people. Either people really enjoy what you do or people really don't. You know what I mean? And this is just about being true and authentic to yourself. That is why it is important to understand the theme for this year, for the rest of this year, right? It is stepping into the unknown. What's a project that you've been wanting to do, right? This is all going to lead into prosperity, and it's going to lead us towards our goals and our dreams, right? But we have to take that first step in that direction, right? The rest of this year is also good. If you hear my cat meowing, don't be alarmed. He's very vocal. I'll attend to him after this video. Another theme for this year is actually going to be eliminating distractions, right? There is, this is part of stepping into the unknown, right? Letting go of some of the things that we are very comfortable with, right? What are some things that might be eating away at your time, right? That subconsciously, at a subconscious level, they're not really helping you that much. I'm still going through this myself, right? There are things that I'm having to let go of, right, in order to create room to pursue my passions, right? Pursue my dreams, do things that are going to help me advance in my career, right? And follow my heart's desires, right? What are some things that might be eating up your time, like I said before, that you feel like on a subconscious level aren't really serving you that well, right? You have to listen to yourself, and you have to be able to be aware of your body, right? What are some things that you don't necessarily know, or that you don't necessarily think are helping you, right? And like I said before, this is something that I'm going through as well. There are certain things that I know aren't really good for my body. Like I'm not really much of a coffee drinker, right? But because every time I drink coffee, it gives me anxiety, right? So I know my body doesn't really necessarily like that. but I still drink it anyways because I like the flavor of it and it makes me feel good, right? So coffee is one of the things that I have to let go of because I know it is no longer serving me, right? So I ask the same question to you. What are some things that might either be eating up your time, right? This could be a hobby, this could be certain foods, right? As we start to let go of these things, we start to evolve on a conscious level, right? Because we start to make upgrades, right? We start to create room for new adventurous things, right? So that is what you can expect for the rest of this year. And for next year, right, it is going to be a huge year for us to be together, right, in harmony. And now what do I mean by this? There is going to be a lot of new variants coming up in terms of I'm just going to do this, right? I know YouTube's very sensitive about what's actually going on the planet right now, but I'm not. And so there's going to be a lot of new variants of this certain thing that's going around. So don't be afraid, right? This is going to be a year for us to step into our power, right? To stand together and be united, because at the end of the day, we are a lot stronger when we're together than we are separated. You know, there's a lot of chaos, right? When we look at the news, when we look at the media, right? There's a lot of things that could actually scare us, right? About certain things that are going on. But what we have to realize is there's a lot of divine work that's going on behind the scenes, right? We aren't shown it in the news. It's not getting shown in the media, right? There are protests happening everywhere because of how much mandates are happening within the world, right? You can't really force someone to do something that they don't necessarily want to do, right? That is the overlying message of next year, right? A lot of us are starting to realize who we truly are. We're starting to awaken to our true abilities, right? And once we actually start to understand who we are, we start to see the truth. You know what I mean? We start to see the truth in what's really going on, right? Like I said before in my previous videos, the veil is going to start to become lifted, right? There's not going to be as much smoke and mirrors in our faces, right? All of that stuff is going to start to become eliminated because if you're watching this video, it's probably happening to you now. You're starting to awaken to your true abilities. You're starting to awaken to who you came here to be, right? And you came here to be strong, and you came here to be fearless. And that's why it's going to be important for us this year to not be afraid, right? Because the media, when they keep us in fear, right? When news outlets, when they keep us in fear, they have the control over us, right? But when we start to take our power back, that is ultimately when we gain our power back, right? That is when we start to become fearless. We start to pursue our dreams, right? Things that we have loved and wanted to do for a while. And how this relates to the next year is, that is why I said it's so important to step into the unknown, right? Become comfortable with uncomfortability. This is going to get us ready for 2022, right? It's going to get us ready for what's going to be happening in 2022, right? The mass censorship that's already going on, right? There is a lot of videos, there's a lot of whistleblowers out there. There are celebrities that are coming out and saying, you know, that some of these mandates aren't very right. So when we start to become comfortable in uncomfortable situations, that is why it's important for that, because it's going to get us ready for this next year. And this next year, like I said before, they're going to try to do everything in the books to try to separate us, right? That is why it is important to see the truth, right? We are a lot more powerful when we're together than we are separate, right? And so if you're watching this video, you're probably starting to already see that the media tries to separate us, right? It tries to divide us based on our skin color, based on our sexual orientation, right? Based on our race, based on our religion, based on where we come from, right? It's a bunch of separateness. But something that is important to understand is that we all bleed red, right? All of us are a lot more similar than we are apart, than we are different, right? We're a lot more similar than we are different. And that is something that I want to get across in this video, is that understand that we are a lot more powerful when we're together, right? And so be aware of some of the things that the media and news outlets try to do to separate us and divide us from our true nature, which is our free will, right? Understand that being free is our birthright, and that is why we're going to start to fight back. Not necessarily fighting in the way that you think, right? We're not going to go around yelling at people, right? But what we are going to do is we're going to stand up for our freedom and stand up for our truth, right? And what this is going to do, is it's going to force these media companies and these news outlets to explain that there's going to be a whole bunch of new variants out there of, you know, I'm going to put it on the screen, but you know what I'm talking about. There's going to be a whole bunch of new variants, and because of this, it's going to make it to where they're going to try to instill fear in us, right? But it's not going to work, because we already know who we are, right? We know why we came here to be. And that is the power of this transition into the next year, right? It's when we're going to start to awaken, right? We're going to start to see the truth. We're going to start to understand who we are. We're going to start to understand why we came here to be. And that is why for the rest of this year, it's important to pursue your passions, right? Do things that are going to maybe make you feel uncomfortable, right? Do things that are going to help you grow. In uncomfortable situations, that is where we grow, right? There's no growth that happens if we are comfortable all the time, right? The majority of growth happens when we are uncomfortable. And that is why it is important to follow your heart. You know, meditate on what it is that you need to be doing. Maybe it's not anything, right? Maybe it's just chilling. But understand that you came here to inspire people. You came here to give back, right? And in giving back to people, you will receive ultimate prosperity and abundance from the universe, right? It's all about understanding what you came here to do. And so with this next year, just to finish up this video, for this next year, don't be afraid, right? Fear is false evidence appearing real. It doesn't really exist, right? It only exists because we give power to it. And so just keep that in mind for this next year, because it's going to be a very beautiful transition, because we're going to start to see the truth, right? There's going to start to be people speaking up for freedom. There's going to be people starting to speak up for our birthright, which is freedom, right? And so just be aware of that. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. If you guys learned something, feel free to let me know, and make sure to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. With all that being said, my friends, have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or night, wherever you're at, and peace, love, and happiness. You like my nails? Mwah.